All right, the very first thing you're going to do is get a class list and label the top with last name, first name. You can do number if you want, it doesn't matter. You just really need to have first name and last name labeled. You can get those lists from Skyward. Also want to divide those up into their classes. You can make the 24 or whatever lists, or you can make it all into one list. It's totally up to you. Then you're going to open up the Word document. If you're using my Word document as a template, then you can skip this step. But otherwise, you create a rectangle shape, the size of the back of the window that is on your iPad. It's a 9 by 6.5. Over here, you can change the colors, but you want no fill and you want a nice thick line. So the weight of the line would be bigger, and then you want to make that a dashed line probably, so that to indicate that that's where they cut it out. And you can put another shape inside of that as a border. You also want to create a triangle that will be cut off for the camera so that the camera still is shown. And get that lined up with that rectangle there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time lining that up, but you can. It's about a 2-inch triangle that you're going to need. Again, you're going to nice heavy weight of a line, dashed, and with a no fill, like that. Okay, so those are what the students are going to cut out. Then you're going to click outside of it and get it so that your cursor is inside that box. Might need to do some readjusting for that. Again, if you're just using my Word document, you can skip most of these steps. All right, so now that I'm inside, I go all the way down to the bottom, or you can leave it all the way at the top, depending on where that sticker is for their barcode, for their name. Then you're going to go to Mailings. In Mailings, you're going to click this button here. And this is where it gets a little, not this one, actually you're going to click this one right here. And you're going to click here. And that is going to then, it looks a little weird, it's where it gets a little bit confusing. Click right there. Find where you saved your class list in Excel. You can use any of these. You can use a CSV too, or an Excel, doesn't matter. Now, then it says that there's a problem, but there actually isn't a problem. All you need to do then is to click over here. And this is where you're going to select your first name. And if you want to do last names, you can. So here I click first name and then click last name. Then you're going to want to format that into something that students can color. So right now, obviously, students can't color that. So select all, go back over to the Home tab there. So click the Home tab, and then right here, it's got like fancy fonts. I picked just one of the ones that was outlined. And if you're doing first and last name, I would do it at like 60 font point, and if you're just doing first name, I had it about 80 point. So as you can see at 90, and you can adjust the fonts a little bit more if you want to. Okay, now go to Mailings, and at this point it's pretty easy because all you're going to do now is come over to this last button over here on this tab to finish it up. You do want to make sure that it's edit individual documents. That way if you get like Benjamins and Elizabeths and other really long names, you might adjust the font a little bit so it stays inside that border. But what that will do is that it will create an individual page for every single person on your Excel list. This does take a few minutes, a minute or so to load, so I'm going to skip that for you. And as you can see now, it is on every individual document. However, because I included first and last name, it is falling outside of the template that I want, which is fine. So what I do is I just close out of that, don't save it, and just make my adjustments back over on my original document. So in this case, you can either take out the last name or you can lower the font. So in this case, I'm just going to lower the font, and I'm also going to make sure I center it because I realized I didn't center it. Again, need to make sure that that's all selected there. Bring that up into the frame that I want, center it, lower the font, and run it again. So go back to mailings, go back to the finishing, edit individual documents, and wait a minute. And then it should pop up here in just a second as all ready to go. Yep, so there it is. Now I have a name on everybody, first and last name there, ready to be colored in. And that is all you need to do. Save that document, print it off, because you might want to come back to it if a kid's like, no, I want to be called Ben and not Benjamin. So you can make adjustments then.